Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Shortbox, Season 6, yeah.
Welcome. Always prepared. Brought to you by HBO Max.
You know what one of your biggest, I think, defining legacies would be in Jack's history? Is making me a fan of IPAs.
Hey, bro.
You have single-handedly force-fed me enough IPAs where I'm like, hey, it's not too bad.
IPA Poppy.
Ooh. Thank you for the episode title so early on. Oh, man. Ashley, Ed, how are you guys feeling today? Good to have you guys back, man. It's like
crazy.
in
Good
person.
to be
I was driving to the old place. I was going down college.
We had it had Drew meet you at the door and underwear.
Curse me out.
Me and Ashley were talking before you guys got here doing the math, and it's been I think we counted 11 and a half weeks since we've all recorded. I think the last time we were all here together in the new studio was the Fantastic Four episode. So that's been about 11 weeks. The rest of that's just been you guys have been voices.
Has no meaning.
Yo, for real. I was like, 11 weeks? You mean yesterday?
Time's just a construct.
Yeah. Oh, we about to get... damn, we don't even have Cesar here for this existential podcast.
But I'm always see in spirit. So
I won't lie. I almost got mad that you weren't able to come fill in, man. With you, leaving us Tuesday, leaving Jax for good on Tuesday,
yeah,
and we weren't going to have you on one last time?
Bro,
that would have been heartbreaking, man.
I legitimately would have been upset myself, and I was trying not to think about it because I was like, fuck, I think I'm leaving. Because I was originally supposed to leave Sunday, so I wouldn't have even got a chance to be on an episode. But then stuff happened. I literally just got my apartment in Austin, Texas, Thursday afternoon.
Wow.
So everything kind of motioned, and I move in. My moving date's on the Wednesday the 3rd. So I'm sitting here going, maybe. I was like, I don't know though. And now I'm just packing, and you hit me up, and I fucking knew as soon as you texted me. I knew. I was like, he's gonna ask me to be on the damn show.
I was very passive aggressive
Someone
about
could
it.
show up.
Someone could be there. So.
You were my fifth person. I was like, damn. No.
Exactly. Dude, I was your Steve Kerr. I was your Steve Kerr coming off the bench.
Yeah, well, we'll see if you make the game-winning shot. I'm sure you will. But
hey, man.
Yo, man, but Austin, Texas is going to be very lucky to have you, Shaggy.
Yeah, man.
I feel like, your presence will definitely be missed and felt.
Yeah.
And you know what, man? You've been a great friend, a great addition to the Short Box as a honorary member, man. So I definitely salute you and thank you so much for all you've done, man.
Thank you.
Yes. Yo, Short Box Nation, welcome to episode 289. I'm your host, Botter Milligan, and I have I got my crew back here with me, man, in person. I'm feeling good. And we got crisp audio. No phone audio to worry about for this
I'm
episode,
going to apologize
folks.
for my shitty phone. I just went back and listened to it. It's like I'm talking through a walkie-talkie. Got a tin can with string.
Yeah,
That shit would have been better. Honestly.
Phone quality is definitely
man.
is definitely hit or miss, man.
It's a T-Mobile. Sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
It's cheap.
Oof.
It's cheap.
As you can tell, I've got Ed here with me.
What's up?
Got Ashley Lanny Hoy in the building.
Hey.
And we got Shaggy Black filling in for Cesar this episode.
Yes, sir, ski.
Cesar is at home getting his ass kicked by these by pollen and his allergies, so he couldn't join us today.
God bless, brother.
In his words, his voice was compromised. You know, he's got to send like Batman like text just for the simplest things, you know. So I just want to go ahead and say, and Shaggy, you joined this episode at a good time because this is kind of a big deal in my eyes for sure. This episode is sponsored by Gotham City Limit, Jacksonville's premier location for comic books, collectibles, toys, and more. It's located on Southside Boulevard for all of you Jacksonville residents. You'll hear more about them later on in this episode. I want to go ahead and welcome Ben and the Gotham City Limit team. They will be sponsoring the next 8 episodes. So big shout outs to them. As you can tell, the Shortbox crew is moving on up, baby, thanks to listeners like you guys. I did have some quick shout outs before we jump into the main episode. I had Shaggy Black here, but I mean, he's literally here.
Yeah.
I think I've already said the nice things I wanted to say. So thank you, Shaggy, for joining us.
Thank you for saying all the nice
Now
things.
you're going to get shit on.
I know, right?
on the show.
From here on out.
As soon as I get out there, it's like, you motherfucker.
Oh, and well, in lieu of your original shout out, how about you go ahead and tell us what drink is also co-sponsoring this episode?
This episode is brought to you in part by Goose Island's Next Coast IPA. 7%, a lot of hoppiness to it. Also on the can it says tropical juicy hops, which I don't taste any kind of tropical.
I just taste hops.
I just taste straight hops.
It's like chewing
but it's delicious.
on
It's like chewing on a
straight.
It's like, dude, it's like chewing on a pineapple. Like the pineapple,
Just
like
the
top
skin.
of it, not even the actual pineapple.
Not the
You're
good
just
part.
like just like the green pineapple leaf that you're just chewing on. Like,
The-
all right, yeah.
The 4 baby hairs I have on my chest have no idea what to do right now. They're like, is this what being a man tastes like? I want to give a special shout out to Kevin Bacosi, a longtime friend and supporter of the show who happens to have a birthday today. Happy birthday, Kevin. I know you're listening.
Merry birthmas.
Yeah, Merry. You guys will both be in Texas together, man. Hit him up.
Shit. What,
Kevin, take care of Shaggy, man. Take care of
Word.
him. He needs all the guidance he needs, damn it.
I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
And I've got a personal shout out. This is to my friends and fellow Shortbox alumni who participated in the protest and march that took place here in Jacksonville yesterday. This is me talking, not on behalf of anyone here on the show. You guys know we try our best to keep politics out of the show, but I'd feel remiss if I didn't say something on a platform where we champion the city so much. I personally want to put a spotlight on those that took part in an organized, peaceful, and purposeful rally yesterday. I know there's a lot of attention to the negative aspects, but I commend all of those who bravely exercised their freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and right to petition as granted by our Constitution. Please stay safe, stay smart, and fight the good fight. The juxtaposition, and also this construction work, the juxtaposition of space history being made yesterday in the midst of these turbulent times is not lost on me. As you guys know, the SpaceX launch was the first crewed flight from the U.S. soil into orbit since 2011. And yesterday we showcased some of the best examples of human ingenuity and successfully reached for the stars, but we still have so much more work to do here at the ground level. With that being said, new listeners, I promise we don't always get this deep and heavy, but I did want to go ahead and get that out the way. In the same vein, if this is your first time tuning in, might I recommend something lighthearted and giving our previous episode 288, Enter the Sandman, a listen. We discussed recent news and announcements like comic shops reopening, the upcoming Sandman audiobook, and we all talked about our first bad comic book experience. Listen to that episode on your favorite podcast app. Now, moving on to more important things. Ashley, did you do your homework?
Oh.
Because I did.
Did you really?
I did. I started reading Sandman.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, damn it. Ditto. You owe me a Coke. Jinx. Yeah. Ditto.
Ditto.
Yeah, you can tell.
More proof that Botter is Cree.
Yes.
Ditto.
As he laughs,
What a
as he
dumbass.
laughs and
Earthlings?
just stares at you. Just like,
No, but I did end up reading Sandman. Let me pull up the series I ended up reading. Which one in particular?
The
But yeah.
first trade?
Yes, yeah,
Preludes
Preludes
and
and
Nocturnes,
Nocturnes, yeah.
Excellent.
So as for some of our listeners joining us for the first time, last episode, me and Ashley both assigned homework to one another.
Mm-hmm.
I had admitted I had never read Neil Gaiman's, classic Sandman Vertigo series, and Ashley, I think you admitted that you weren't either. You've never watched or a manga or read an anime or something to that effect.
If this gives you any insight into how I did in high school, I just remembered that I had homework. But I'm going to write it down right now on my to-do list, like, honestly, and then next time we get together.
Don't worry, I almost forgot. But,
It was Vampire Hunter D, right?
Oh, yeah,
That's
Vampire
what we
Hunter D.
decided
Yeah.
on.
Was that it?
Yep.
Well, I mean, in all honesty,
Well, that was what we C recommended.
yeah, I've never read it or watched it myself, so I can probably give that a shot too. I was thinking maybe as a Patreon bonus, maybe when you get done with your homework and I get done with mine, we could just hop on and talk about it because I would love to talk Sandman.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I definitely recommend it. And Ed, you were so right about being turned on to hot goth girls. When I reached that death issue, I was like, all right, yeah, the paler the better. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the main bit of our show, ladies and gents. We are going to do another Short Box Stories show. As many of you guys know, we use the Short Box Stories episodes to go ahead and highlight and chat about some of the more recent news and headlines coming out of the comic book and pop culture world. We try to go ahead and spotlight ones that maybe didn't get much attention or ones that we haven't covered on our social media. So it's always a good opportunity to kind of talk about some headlines and things that kind of flew underneath the radar. I'll go ahead and kick us off. I learned today, earlier this week, there was news that Newsarama, the kind of comic book and pop culture website, is joining the GamesRadar team. That'll be starting Monday, June 1st. Yeah, you guys might know Newsarama does like daily comic news. They have opinion pieces and whatnot. But they're already sister sites with GamesRadar because they're all owned, or at least under Future US Inc. family, and that's an international media group, and they do like digital publishing as well. Newsarama's founder and editor-in-chief, Michael Doran, he had a lot of positive things to say. I got a quote here. He says, there's a huge crossover between comics, video games, film, and TV, so Newsarama becoming part of the bigger GamesRadar site makes total sense from a content perspective, as well as giving us a massive boost in terms of audience reach. So yeah, like I said, starting Monday, June 1st, by the time you guys are listening to this episode, it'll definitely be up there already. GamesRadar will feature all the best stories from Newsarama's archives, as well as new content will be delivered daily on GamesRadar.com/Newsarama site. Some of the, I think, other kind of mini sites or micro sites, however you want to call it, on GamesRadar right now is Total Film is there, which is like all about kind of film reviews and things like that, film coverage, movie coverage, etc. There's Edge, Retro Gamer, which is a kind of a mini site dedicated to just retro video games and opinions and playthroughs. OPM, Official PlayStation Magazine, is also located on GamesRadar. SFX Magazine, which I've seen on stands a few times, but that's like the world's #1 sci-fi, fantasy, and horror magazine. That's located on GamesRadar. So now we're getting Newsarama joining the lineup as well. So pretty big news, pretty good insight. And my question kind of for the group talking about this topic is, what are some of your go-to, do you guys have any go-to like publications when it comes to keeping up with like pop culture news or comic book reviews or things like that? I know some of the sources that we use when it comes to these short box stories tend to be like CBR, I think comicbooks.com. I think we've mentioned Bleeding Cool a few times. I know Newsarama's come up a few times, but do you guys have any like kind of go-to ones or favorites?
Yo, this
this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox Store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YOO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And then I mentioned that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material. None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YOO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show.
I hear most of my stuff from the shop. Just talking to different people and talking to Dave at the shop.
At the ground level for
Yeah.
the people.
That's where I hear like a lot of opinions on things and like cool stuff that's coming up. But I like comic book resources. I think that's the one that like if I want to learn more about something, I'll go right to that site and look for it.
Yeah. And not to completely slander, but I know Bleeding Cool tends to, in my opinion, kind of lean more towards the gossip. But they tend to always kind of break things first, because they definitely do a good job of like staying up to date on like kind of quote unquote breaking news, which I think tends to, it's definitely gotten a bad rep at times where it's like, well, that's Bleeding Cool, they're just kind of a gossip rag for nerds. But I've definitely quoted a few of their articles because they'll have like the latest scoop. Ed, what about you?
Yeah, I like all those. A lot of times when I'm looking for stuff to post or news, I'll see what's trending on Twitter a lot of times, and outside of like comicbook.com and comic book resources, I like Geek Tyrant. I like a lot.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a cool one. But that's pretty much what my go-tos. I just kind of go on Twitter, see what's trending, and check those Twitter feeds and stuff like that.
I think I also want to add IO9 is a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know. Is it IO9 Gizmodo?
Gizmodo? Yeah,
Gizmodo. I don't know if those are two separate or not. But IO9, Gizmodo, and there's one other one called like Monkeys in a Closet or Monkey Robots. Definitely got that kind of screwed up.
Oh, okay.
MonkeyRobots.com. But IO9 tends to be one of my favorite ones. Comicbook.com, and to your point, CBR, I feel like was my go-to after Wizard kind of went under, and like I started getting on the internet and things like that. CBR is definitely probably my favorite one, right behind IO9. What about you? What about you, Shaggy?
Honest to God, it's whatever pops up on my Twitter feed. Like, that is how, between every one that you just named, like, is the only thing I know that pops up on my Twitter feed. Because some people, either I don't follow them, or I do follow them, and they just get buried under the fuckery of my timeline. But 9 times out of 10 is gonna be my Twitter feed, and this will be like CBR, IGN.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because IGN is actually starting to get a lot better with some of that. Like Joe Blow, like this. That's kind of like for the movie stuff. But when it comes to actual like comics, I recently just came across a YouTube channel called Variant. And that one goes over like things you may not know about a comic book character, certain comics that are out right now that are hot and the dude likes. And it's really interesting to see that pop up. And I've stuff that I've learned already. And then either new stuff or old. And then obviously it made me want to go back and read the new Batman run with the new writer. Because after Tom King stopped, I stopped reading. And apparently I missed out on some good shit. So I hate myself because of it. Because dude was telling me, he's like, I know it was a different dude, but he's Tom King's understudy, yada, yada. I cannot, it's Thomas something the fourth.
Tinian.
Worth. Oh.
Yeah. Tinian's just like, I just knew what the name was. And I'm like, damn, dude, I need to get back on it. And Variant's a nice little YouTube page. They even talked about like the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles. Comic book that's out. That's pretty decent with Shredder being with Rita Repulsa, all that. That's a crazy read, and then they go over like some of their favorite comic book stuff. So it's when I want that type of stuff, I'll look at to see what pops up. But 9 times 10 it's going to be my Twitter feed.
You know, and I think the equivalent of, and real quick, it's monkeysfightingrobots.com.
Oh.
Not monkey robots.
Fighting robots.
They're actually,
Don't go to monkey robots.
Not effing. Yeah.
Clear your browser.
Yeah, now without a VPN and a really good ad blocker. Monkeysfightingrobots.com is a solid comic book sci-fi site. But I think the equivalent of my Twitter would be comic book subreddit. Yeah, comic books Reddit page, because I like to see the community aspect and like the opinions of the people actually reading them, and I find that Reddit always has, like, for the better or worse, some pretty good engagement from followers and people who use it. I tend to find that, like, the comment section on sites in particular is usually just trash. It's not very varied, in my opinion. So. But nah, dude, I don't think none of this can replace Wizard for me. Wizard for me was like my go-to comic book resource. But then again, you know, the internet wasn't really like that accessible, or at least popular in my house. So for me, it was like Wizard magazine. That's where I was like looking to find like what books were selling the most, like the interviews and things like that. So the day that and I'm really surprised that like Wizard never decided to take the jump or transition to straight digital, especially knowing like the fan base and how many people still talk about and miss them now. I guess it just kind of lost in nostalgia. Ed, I really like the news article that you presented in the headline, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you for our next topic.
There's a couple things, because it's been a while since we've all talked, and I don't think we've talked about the...
Hey, Shortbox Nation. Sorry for the interruption. Just a few quick words from our sponsor, and we'll get right back to the show. Yeah, so this is where I pick up my comics.
Excuse me, might I remind you the rules here at No Touch Collectibles? No loitering, no friendship, no touching the merchandise without gloves, and no free bags and boards.
Yeah, man, I know. This shop sucks. I don't even know why I shop here.
Well, we could go to Jacksonville's premier location for comic books, collectibles, toys, and more.
You okay?
At Gotham City Limits, you get 10% off comic books in your pull, 20% off trade paperbacks and hardcovers, 10% off high-end figures and statues, and free bags and boards. It's practically criminal.
And that's why Gotham City Limits is a place of the people.
How many times have you watched the Batman trilogy?
I'm ashamed to say.
Well, I mean, they're not bad.
One time for every time the Joker has taken the city hostage.
Are you done with that?
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, let's just go take our business there.
Gotham City Limit. It's the comic book shop Jax deserves, but not the one.
All right. I get it. It's a great shop. Let's just go.
And it just kind of leads into two different stories, but there's the Snyder cut, which Snyder released an image of Darkseid, which was, supposed to be in the original film. So he released that. There's been a lot of promotion of releasing the Snyder cut, and now it's officially going to be on HBO Max next year. So the first part of the story, part A of the story, is what you guys think about, like, is this going to be, how much different a version will this be than what we saw with the Whedon, parts in it? And just kind of interesting to see is this going to be a new trend.
If I am to be honest, the image that you posted on our Instagram, where you had folks kind of share the news, you had taken that little snapshot of Darkseid and you zoomed in, so it's like really, kind of,
well, it looks like Kratos. I had to see who it was.
Dude, that's exactly who I thought it was. I was like, oh shit, Zack Snyder's making a God of War movie. I was like, nah, no fucking way. And then it was like, no, that's. I'm like, that's Thanos. I was like, that's not Thanos. Jesus Christ, Darkseid. I was like, who's Darkseid?
To be honest, I thought he looked like Terrax from the Galactus.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Like Galactus' Herald from the comic books. I was like, oh damn, cool. I don't think I cared enough about that Justice League movie. For another cut.
I was just. It's been like such a
I have
groundswell for this, and it's just What do you want? How it's.
Zack Snyder's got a dedicated fan base.
Yeah,
because for the most part,
and his situation's pretty tragic.
True.
And it's it's a very odd situation, but just I don't know, because they're putting in, like I said, $30 million to
which is another kind of
it's
movie.
almost like you can shoot about 6 or 7 low budget movies for
you could shoot another Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. Actually,
30
budget was it?
35 of those. That wasn't $1 million movie.
Yeah, definitely not.
No way.
So, Ed, you bring up some good points. But actually, before I share mine, Ashley, what do you think? Did you care for this at all? Did you want this? Were you part of the?
I mean,
the
I didn't
fans
ask
clamoring?
for it. No.
You sure? I saw your name on the petition. I got it right here.
Damn, son.
I remember Michael Shannon did an interview and kind of accidentally revealed that he was going to be Darkseid during the interview, and I remember everybody got excited. And then I saw the movie, and it was one of those movies that I saw it, and then the next day I forgot that I saw it. Mm-hmm. Like, I just didn't care about it. And now they're talking about a 4-hour cut of this movie. And that amount of time is reserved for, like, Lord of the Rings. That is the only movie
contract, part of the contract.
I will watch for 4 hours.
Oh, my God, 4 hours.
So I'm happy that he's getting to do this, but I just can't imagine watching a 4-hour-long version of this.
Just a reminder, folks, she couldn't sit through Aquaman, and that was like...
I mean...
she's like, this was good, but I'm good on ever doing this ever again.
That's true.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, please. I was just going to say that I don't think there's any franchise I want to sit 4 hours for.
Yeah.
That's it, Lord of the Rings.
But granted, this will be from the comfort from your home, right? It's not going to be in.
And this is in HBO Max, and this is content, so an exclusive. It's supposed to be an exclusive HBO Max.
So let me ask you this. Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but so you mean to tell me if Marvel didn't drop a movie for 4 and it was 4 hours long, you wouldn't be there? With their current track record, you can honestly sit there and say you're not going to be there for opening night for 4 hours. Well, you won't clear your day.
Somewhere C would have made a joke about, no, he's too busy with the Marvel dick in his mouth.
Exactly. That's why I'm channeling my inner C. I got to call you out on your bullshit.
I would not be happy, or I would definitely complain about walking to a theater for 4 hours. But if it's from the comfort of my home, that kind of changes things, because I don't need to sit throughout the whole movie. And all that, but I've already seen Justice League, so I mean, it's not a big deal if I move around or do some other shit. And to Ed's point, this is a very unique situation, because I believe the original story went that Zack Snyder, his daughter, was it his daughter that passed away?
Yeah, suicide.
His daughter committed suicide. He had to, he left the project. Josh Whedon came in and kind of filled in the gaps for the rest. And I think it was a significant amount of story and alterations that he had to do. So this I can kind of give a slide. It's like, Zack Snyder was probably dealing with a lot. I'm sure that his original vision for the movie is not what we got. And I'm willing to see it. I mean, like, this is, for the most part, like, kind of, it's pretty cool to see that the fans believed in his vision enough to make enough noise to warrant this. And think about it. To not only, they could have easily just put out, hey, here's the extra bonus stuff, which I think they probably did, but to invest $30 million,
that's a lot.
Yeah, that says something. Like I feel like they see something in this original version. So
that or HBO Max will make up all of that money.
Yeah, and just on the heels of that, then once that was announced, David Ayers kind of jumped in, because we all know how chopped up Suicide Squad looked. And so he was basically saying that, hey, I have my version's pretty much almost done, so you can see, so basically he kind of started the, release the Ayer cut. And,
which did not gain much traction. Like, it don't roll off the tongue.
It's not as much traction as, because the situation's completely different too. Yeah. He didn't get taken off the movie. His movie just got really heavily edited by the studio because of, just kind of the Batman versus Superman, how that really didn't get backlash. So basically they recut his movie, cut a lot of, people who were on that movie, like Jared Leto just wouldn't even promote the movie because they cut pretty much all his stuff out. So there's a lot of material. He said that it's pretty much, his version has been even like, test screened. So it's out there. There's some visual effects that need to be done. So you don't have that $30 million investment. they need the material. It can be a positive move to promote James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, and he's cool with it. He even tweeted that, I'd like to see what your vision was.
The pessimist in me would say that this is a very elaborate marketing tool to sell more on the back end.
Yeah.
In addition to theaters, which might be possible. But I guess it's kind of funny and feeds into all the DCU memes that you see of just DC movies kind of sucking, just kind of being trash.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it say about these movies and as an art form, or just the directors or the production company, that it takes these directors that I have to watch their true version after the fact, in such a way. I could have definitely worded that a lot more elegantly.
Definitely could have.
We knew what you mean, but
I
it
was
was
saying it
kinda
as it was coming to me. I don't want to see I definitely don't want to see a Suicide Squad true vision.
I'm with that because it's like, dude, I really don't. I don't care. Like it's whatever. Like Justice League, I'll give the time of day. Only because I'm like, there is so much that could have went right with that movie, but didn't. Suicide Squad is like, it's literally none of these characters are going to die outside of the ones and Suicide Squad is literally called Suicide Squad for a reason. There's nothing that would make me like that movie more. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like Will Smith died? Word. That was supposed to be the thing? That's crazy.
And now it's extra worse.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, that's crazy. I'm not watching. But no, I mean, when it came to the Justice League stuff, with the Snyder Cut, like, of course, that was like one running gag for like 4 years. I actually own Justice League on like digital, and I told myself, I was like, why did I buy this? Same reason why you bought Oscar winning movie Suicide Squad. You just did it just because you had the money to blow, and I'm just like, this is the worst. I throw Justice League on in the background, but looking at everything, I'm like, I'm willing to give it a chance, just like how you gave Sucker Punch a chance.
Yep.
For the record, I didn't give it a chance.
You bought it. You own it. Like you own the movie.
It gave me a chance.
Oh, man. Hey, thank you, brother.
I was gonna say, like, I didn't give it a chance. I genuinely liked it enough to see it in theaters twice. I got Zack Snyder's back forever.
You were sitting here saying like, "Yo," like, yeah, the Zack Snyder fan base, and I'm like looking at you like, didn't you legit put money on Sucker Punch?
I guess what I don't want to see is this become the go-to cop-out for directors when the reception is terrible. Oh well, this isn't my cut.
So you don't want to see the Josh Trank Fantastic Four?
There's no amount of convincing that would convince me that.
I'm sure he's next. He's waiting,
dude. Exactly. It's like a second opportunity. Because what
he wants Disney money.
What I could see it leading to, and for me is, why am I going to pay money and my time to go watch it in theaters if the trend is reception's bad? Hey, I've got an unreleased cut. It's like, well, why even go waste my time watching the theaters? DC's just got a bad track record of movies, and if this is going to be the new thing, then I might as well just wait for the official cuts later on, a year or two down the line.
Real quick, it's funny to me that you say like they have a bad track record until they started hiring horror directors.
Yeah.
Like after that, they're like either made a Billy or they've come close.
Yeah.
The only one that's not a horror director is the Wonder Woman's director. Oh shit! I just left.
Patty Jenkins.
Thank you. Yeah. She's the only one. But after that,
bro, do you even women, bro?
I don't. I really don't.
Nah,
some broad.
I'm one to speak. One to speak.
He's like, that's for Sucker Punch, you asshole.
I would have been like, Patty Jenkins from Jenkins Barbecue.
Shit. Like, damn, that's my grandmama, dog.
With it, because I mean, like Ed, I think you mentioned that this is coming straight to HBO Max, which for the most part is a pretty big offering for the new app. I mean, look at what Disney's been doing lately with Disney Plus with their offering. Because I felt like after Mandalorian, it kind of lulled. Yeah. I know I wasn't frequenting or using Disney Plus.
Well, they're relying on their vault of stuff, all their classic things, and the new material was very slowly, or original materials really slowly coming out.
The Vault and The Simpsons.
Yeah,
Simpsons. Which I mean, to be honest, that's the main thing I use Disney Plus for. But I got to commend them for what. Ever since we've been on this whole kind of lockdown stuff, they have been putting out pretty big name movies really quick, such as I think Last Jedi was recently put on Disney Plus. Damn, you know, that was a terrible, that's what I used? Oh my God. Damn it, no, something else came out like that first week.
Onward came out pretty fast.
Yeah, Onward. Return of the Jedi, and I think there was one more that I cannot for the life of me think about.
Frozen 2.
Thank you, Frozen 2. Thank you. And Maleficent just came out on Disney Plus as well. So, yeah, I don't blame HBO Max. Like, I think, which kind of brings us to our next topic in regards to HBO Max and its launch and what's available now. I have a HBO Max account. I was going through it earlier this week, and I was a little bit like, this is the big hubbub? This is what you guys are charging, whatever, $11.99, $14.99 for? I think this is a good look for them to kind of come out the door swinging with this Snyder Cut, investing so much money. It kind of shows me that, like, okay, we want to take this app serious and what we have to offer. So I think it's a good look for the app. Shaggy, you are our resident streaming service correspondent. You have been talking about HBO Max every single time you've come on the show. I think it's safe to say for the last year that you've been a surprise guest co-host. You have talked
HBO Max.
How much are they paying you? What's your residual?
Not even, bro. Like, I was like, because I remember with the Disney Plus one, I was like, damn, I didn't wait. I even mentioned HBO Max on that shit. Holy hell. Yeah, good eyes. Sir.
You bring it up when it's no need. We were at, we were at that funeral that one day, and you were like,
so yo, this reminds me of that shit I just watched on HBO Max, dog. That shit's crazy.
I kid.
Damn.
But with it finally being here, do you have anything else to talk about now? No, I'm kidding. What do you think about the launch? What's on there that kind of piqued your interest? What's on your my list queue?
So, and thank you for that. So like legitimately, I didn't buy HBO. So HBO Max, if you bought it before the 27th of launch, you got it for $11.90.
Happy birthday, Botter. What? Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks.
Hey. No. But if you bought it before then, you would get it for $11.99 instead of the $14.99. So I jumped on that. But the only reason why I jumped on that is because I've been waiting for a cartoon to be made by if you ever heard of the show Regular Show, the creator of that show called his name's JT Quintel. He had a show called Close Enough, which is like an adult version of Regular Show. Sans animals is all humans and stuff, but it's like crazy shit going on. That show has been in development hell since it was announced back in 2015. It now had, because it was supposed to be on TBS and it just never got pushed forward. And this is something he wanted to do. Originally they wanted to put it on Adult Swim, but they couldn't get the thing for that, so they wanted to put it on TBS. It was announced for HBO Max starting in June, and that's when I instantly wanted to give them my money. I was going to probably either borrow HBO Max from somebody or eventually buy it myself. But that right there actually was like, nope, shut up and take my money. That's one of the shows I was hyped for. That's coming out in June. It's the only streaming service you can actually stream Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Which is a win.
Yeah, that right there. I was like, yo.
I was really impressed by that.
You can compare Aunt Viv's.
Oh, yeah.
I can replay. Why you don't love me, man?
Nah, baby, I don't feel sad, G. Like, Jesus Christ, that episode.
Uncle Shredder.
Exactly, Uncle. Like, getting to see Uncle Shredder all the time, man. For those who don't know, Uncle Phil did play Shredder on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. If you didn't know that, why the fuck are you listening to this show?
No. Please continue listening. It's fine. We all got no stuff. Yo, listen, man. We cannot afford to lose listeners.
My bad, dog. My bad. But no. What did take me on is they have 600 movies on their lineup, and that wasn't even including the shows that they have. And they're adding more and I'm a big horror junkie, so they have every single Friday the 13th, and they have every single Nightmare on Elm Street. I can't even get that on Shudder or even Netflix or anything.
So you think they'll do fold in the DC Universe app?
Man, that's the next thing. So
it has not been confirmed for the record.
No, it hasn't. But what has been
oddly silent.
But the Doom Patrol.
Ashley looks so worried right now. It is insane. Like, well, Ashley, it's okay.
They released the Doom Patrol image for season 2, and they said it's going to be on both.
So
apps.
Doom Patrol is going to be on that app as well.
Mm-hmm. Swamp Thing
is actually going to be on CW, but they're only going to bring that stuff over eventually. So my whole thing with the DC Universe app, because even when we talked about this a few episodes ago, would they fold and put it in there? The only thing difference between the DC Universe app and HBO Max is the fact that you can read comic books on it. Yeah. Half of the content that's on DC Universe is available on HBO Max.
Well, so hold up. So when we talk about original content on the DC Universe app, they've got a majority of the TV shows, a majority of the DC movies. HBO Max has Catwoman like front and center, which was really funny. I'm like, oh, we can watch that for our next movie review.
The Halle Berry one?
Yes. Yeah. But DC,
can't you steal first?
The DC Universe app also offers original video content as well that I don't think gets spoken about enough. Yeah, they have the comic books, but they also produce like shows, like original DC comic related shows. So they'll have like they've got like an interview series, a video interview series of like a bunch of DC writers. They've got like this kind of similar to kind of like what we do. They've got like a round table of co-hosts. They all talk about like a comic book series, and they've got like another video series that is kind of similar in that same vein, where they talk about like the history of a hero, or they pick like a comic book series or a topic and they go into it. And it's sort of like a YouTube channel. For the most part, it's like a YouTube channel of original content they produce. I know that stuff doesn't make sense to go on HBO Max, but to your point, I think from what I understand, because they're being they haven't like directly addressed it. I've been waiting for an email from the DC Universe app. I've been the only thing I remember reading was a Vanity Fair article that came out maybe 3 days prior to the launch of HBO Max, and even it was very unclear what the plan was. It was just primarily what you're saying, which is, hey, a majority of these movies are going to be on both apps, but right now it's not clear whether they're going to fold it or whatnot. So in a way, it's almost like you're kind of double paying if your primary goal is just for DC stuff. Like I'd almost recommend you kind of think about what's your priority. Do you want to have
how much
the comics
is the DC
or
Universe?
Is what, $7.99 still?
It's super cheap, and I've been saying this like the past 2 episodes. I think it's still the best bang for your buck in regards to like when you compare it to like the Marvel Unlimited app or the Comixology, only because DC Universe app has like the TV shows, the movies, their original video content. Yeah, their comic book library isn't nearly as robust as some of these other ones, but they're getting there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in a future date they decide, okay, all the movies go on HBO Max. The DC Universe app will be strictly our comic books.
Just bolster their comic.
Yeah, our comic books, and then our original video content and whatnot.
See, the death knell for that app will be if Harley Quinn jumps from DC Universe over to.
But I also don't see why don't they just offer it right now. Like, yo, if I'm paying for HBO Max, at least give me the DC Universe app for like a year or something.
Because the only reason why it's even called because originally it's Time Warner's streaming service. The only reason why it's called HBO Max is because you had to market it as something. So you would have gotten it that way. So I get what you're saying, but the only reason why they do that is because literally HBO people recognize that.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do that. So they're not gonna they're gonna keep what they have, and eventually it'll probably turn into something when they figure everything out. But yeah, it's a bunch of original content on there. Elmo has a talk show on there.
Wait, what?
Yes, literally. It's not the Not So Late show with Elmo, I believe.
It airs at like 6:30 p.m.
And I'm just sitting there going like, and I'm sitting there looking, and I'm like, adds to wish list, like adds to watch later. I'm saying I'm gonna watch this, and I'll be like, oh,
yo, imagine Michelle Obama showing up on the Elmo like late night, Not So Late Night, and he's like getting like real. What do you think about the police?
Yeah. What do you think about the riots? Because it's just like that's just literally Elmo just kind of getting to the deep cuts. Like, yo, this show slaps. They also have now.
Real quick, imagine Elmo throwing a Molotov cocktail and like.
How far would it go?
I'd be like, damn, we need to do something.
Like, how far would it go? Like, literally, it's like just like, and it's just like, yo, it's like, yo, hold on, time out. How did you launch it that quick,
it's like
bro?
cops and protesters like, aww.
Elmo likes fire. But no, it also has. It's the only other place that you can get Studio Ghibli.
Yeah,
that was one
streaming.
of their big.
That's like huge.
I did not know Studio Ghibli had that many movies.
Oh, they got hits,
until
man.
like I was scrolling through and it was like, damn, you guys
have their own theme park in Japan.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right,
dude. They have what is it like? So it's like HBO, DC, Turner Classic Movies,
Adult Swim,
Cartoon Network.
And I like that they break it down into those categories. Because like it's got the regular like horror, adventure, action, romance. Then at the bottom they have like the logos for like Adult Swim, Studio Ghibli,
Turner Classic
Movies, and things like that. And I like that they break it down like that. What I've got queued up in my list so far are the first two Batmans, Batman and Batman Returns. I've got Steel, fucking Shaft.
Oh my God.
I've got like Rurouni Kenshin. I've got like Berserker is on there. I was like, oh, cool.
That shit was in the horror section, and I'm still baffled. Like, I shit you not. It was like the first thing I go straight to the horror section, and it's like Aliens, Resurrection.
I got Aliens on
Berserk.
there.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's pretty.
I mean, I get it, but I'm just like, huh? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is this doing here?
Yeah,
I'm like,
should be in fantasy or like
they have their own anime section, and I'm just sitting there like, how the fuck did this get here?
Maybe they just tag like if there's a certain amount of gore or like content or rating, they might just toss it in there just to cross pollinate what they have.
Like, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck?
It might be in like 5 or 6 different genres.
Yeah, like I don't
under anime too.
Like it's in the Crunchyroll collection is what it's called. It's not officially Crunchyroll itself. It's just a collection of their popular stuff like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
it's like one of the first things they feature on there.
I got Boondocks and Fresh Prince.
That was another one.
There's supposed to be a new season of Boondocks
which is gonna be weird because rest in peace John Witherspoon because he played Pops. And now you can't. Now it's gonna be like how is he gonna do it?
What if his son's gonna do it?
I mean, if he has the voice, because you would want that to be like that voice was iconic because it's like, and then the manner because he brought his mannerisms with that voice, so it's kind of like,
well said,
how could you do that?
I was watching the Tyler Perry parody episode,
man,
which I think I don't remember if they aired that one.
They didn't because Tyler Perry
had like taken some.
He's got money and power.
Told him to take it down because of how that story happened. Is one of his writers said, "Yo, this is legit how he acts." And he found out about it.
Get the fuck out.
It's too personal.
When he found out about it, he was like, no. Like, I want this pulled. I want it. Are you going to get sued?
Well, that episode is a heavy Pops episode. Like, Pops is kind of like the central figure. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, damn, yo, I kind of forgot that that he passed away. I don't know if this is going to be the same without it. Because he's like one of my... He's like
the best character on the show.
Yeah, it's just like, how would you get past that?
Next to Pimp Named Slipback.
It hurts.
That guy's pretty awesome.
Man, it hurts. So, like, Ashley, you don't have HBO Max, do you?
So I have AT&T, so I have HBO, but I haven't like gone in there yet.
Yeah, so it should be available for you to download. I literally had to sign up for AT&T. I had to sign up for AT&T, but because I'm moving to Austin, that's all they have. They gave me HBO Max for free, but if you have HBO. Any subscription to HBO, you literally have HBO Max.
Okay.
All you have to do is just download it.
Well, I'm excited to not have to deal with DC because now I can get rid of DC Universe because I was just in it for Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing, so I don't need it anymore.
That's how a lot of people. I've noticed online. I feel like why do I need to? What's the justification for paying both? Like, if I can just pay for HBO
Until
Max.
they move over Harley Quinn. That's the only...
Isn't that on Adult Swim?
No,
They're not
yet.
doing it on Adult Swim
Not yet. So
okay.
it's the rumor they were going to bring it out to Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Or Sci-Fi Channel. It was either one of those.
It's going to be on Sci-Fi on Sunday. It's the first season.
Yeah, it's the first season. It's Sci-Fi Channel the first season, which is fine.
Oh, really?
Like, it's going to be on Sci-Fi Channel.
Sci-Fi Channel is coming up, man.
Yeah, and
they get some good stuff.
Depending on what time they air it, it may be uncut.
It's going to be late night.
That would be nice.
Because they did that with
Sunday
Deadly
late night.
They did that with Deadly. They did that with Deadly Class. It was definitely uncut, and then you got that version. That's the only reason why I've kept DC Universe. I mean, okay, be real, that was somebody else's DC Universe, not mine. But that's like I'm gonna keep it because
I can send you a link where you can watch it and not have to
off the show.
Okay, off the show. You may or may not get some viruses.
But yeah, no, that's the only reason why I even kept it. And I feel you with that with the other shows on there. So but they're literally they smack. When you get on HBO Max and you kind of let it go, one of the things they bring up is Doom Patrol coming June 25th, second season, and I'm just like, oh shit! But
it's also coming to DCU, right?
Man, I don't know.
On the promo image, it has the logo for both.
Yeah, like same day.
And I'm glad that consumers are calling them out for that because it's like, well, this isn't exclusive to DCU. Like, why am I paying for this if I'm not getting any exclusives?
Unless they go exclusively comics and then drop it down to like $5,
and then work their way back up to $7 in like 6 months.
And then, exactly.
Like real quick, I even
new
new customers only.
Real quick, I pulled up my app and I looked at my list. Like, I pretty much added stuff on here that I couldn't get anywhere else. Like, first off, like they have Beware the Batman, which is like an obscure 3D version cartoon.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it
with
was
like really C-list villains.
I'm gonna say B+ villains because they're like I'm gonna say B+ because they're not like Calendar Man,
Professor
or like,
Pig's B+.
He moved up.
Wow.
He moved up into that category, man.
I'd be curious just to hear your ranking.
Like Katana, like they got like Alfred's like bald and no beard, and I'm just like,
yeah,
all
it's
right.
CG, but it was that what I like the show. I thought the show was good.
Yeah,
but it's CG
gritty.
was like really like
it was from the Green Lantern,
lame.
The same people who did the Green Lantern CGI, so it's kind of like I'm like, but I'm like, and Batman looks like an asshole, but all right, whatever.
When doesn't he look like an asshole?
No, he literally like every like you can go look at the Batman the animated series and
if
that
was traditionally animated, I probably would have liked it better.
Yeah,
but CG is pretty jarring.
Yo, well, someone tell these construction workers we're recording
on a
Sunday,
Sunday, man.
Come on,
cut that shit the fuck.
Lord's
out.
Day.
Real quick, like the Terror of Mechagodzilla scanners. They also added like Ready or Not, the horror movie.
Damn, that was real recent.
Yeah, like they added that. Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy Death Day to You,
so
Frighteners, and Adventure Time, which is also apparently a show that's getting a relaunch too only on HBO Max.
Oh damn. Okay, all right. Thank you, Shaggy. That was good insight, good coverage, man. I don't know who the hell's going to be our next streaming service correspondent, but.
Me neither.
We'll just have to give you a call from Austin.
I mean, hey,
Skype in.
Yeah,
Skype that call in.
Man, that'll be real, like official, like news. Like, let's go ahead and wrap it up with our last story. Which, Ed, you made a good point that this one is definitely relevant since we are a podcast, and I don't think we cover big news items when it comes to podcast industry a lot, but this one was definitely prime.
Yeah, so Spotify just recently signed Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience podcast exclusive. It starts September 1st. And like I said, the details are not specific, but they say it's probably at least it's $100 million deal to go exclusive.
I think it's per year.
Per year. So that is, and like I said, Spotify is kind of getting in. They've been getting some exclusive shows here and there, like the Lad Podcast Network. Like in February of this year, you were mentioning.
Yeah, the Joe Budden podcast has been Spotify exclusive for I think 2 or 3 years, and I remember when they announced that it was like what? That like they had a lot of like coverage, but I mean this Joe Rogan thing.
Yeah, and their stock. I think they said it went up like 8%. Their stock went up.
They have definitely been making moves to. I mean, they've just got a really good track record of like spotting like the biggest podcast and convincing them to go fucking exclusive. I think the other kind of company doing similar things is Wondery. I think that's like a podcast
network.
App. Yeah, network, and they've got a few exclusive shows.
So that was just a big time because that's a pretty that dominates the charts as far as podcasts go, like easily. So it's there's some kind of pushback against it as far as like because of the music side seems to get it seems like they're going towards like that. So there's one writer who said that like a musician needs to basically have their track played 23 billion times to get even close to what Joe Rogan's making.
The payouts are ridiculous for music is ridiculous, and I've seen some similar gripes from musicians saying, well, like, we initially kind of helped you build this platform. Like Spotify was a music app.
A music app to begin with.
So why does this podcaster justify you guys paying such an exorbitant amount, but us musicians are getting, literally like pennies on the stream.
Or fractions of pennies.
Thank you, fractions.
Fractions. So that makes him like the highest paid
fucking talker. Like he's the highest paid talker.
He's getting high talking for 3 hours. Talking like it's like, man, that's
about
the dream,
nothing, dude.
It's the dream.
Joe Rogan is the epitome of like white privilege that I want so bad.
Oh man,
I kid, but all jokes aside, when it comes to podcasting, I think Joe Rogan is the podcaster's podcast. Like he is very down to earth. I don't think he makes. I've noticed that he never talks about like the business side of things on his podcast.
No,
I don't even think that he wanted to talk about much about this. It was a surprise to me that he would even take an exclusive deal.
I heard it from another because I listened to his podcast.
Yo, who doesn't? That's the thing. Who does not who does not either listen to the podcast or watch this shit on YouTube? You don't want Shaggy.
I
think he would love it, man.
Either.
So to be fair, if it's not on a GIF or like a quick video on Twitter,
it's a lot.
Not looking that shit up myself. Like the last thing I've ever saw from the Joe Rogan podcast that was familiar to me was like, I forgot who, but someone was talking about like video games on there, and also when Jamie Foxx was talking about where.
And he's smart because he has the YouTube with just like clips of highlighted conversation. Because not everyone's going to sit down and listen to 3 hours.
I don't. Yeah, because that's my only intake to the Joe Rogan podcast. Also, Elon Musk smoking. Like that's like
that was a big moment. Yeah, that was big. And I mean, full respect to Joe Rogan. He is someone that I think releases I want to say 2 or 3 episodes a week or something, something to that aspect, and it varies. Like he doesn't always have some big megastar.
Yeah, sometimes he'll drop like 2 or 3 in a day. He'll like just knock them all out in a row. So you'll miss people.
A lot of times it's folks like scientists, teachers, explorers that like aren't celebrities. So I think it's kind of cool that like he's in it for the content. Like he just puts out good content, and he's kind of like a testament of like. He just kind of kept his head down and just put out content. He built focused on building a content library, and eventually, the money came to him. Which I mean, it's something that I've been trying to practice myself. Just focus. And I usually tell all podcasters that, like at all these podcaster meetups, I've always just told everyone like, yo, just focus on making a library of content, man. Like you just want to have something to offer,
Yeah, and his whole thing was like his philosophy. I think it's can be a bit extreme with some people having it 3 hours, but he's like, so how can you have a conversation with someone in like a talk show, like a 5 minutes, and you don't really get to know where the person's coming from. You don't really get to know the person. So it's, the conversations can a lot of times go off the rails because it's so long and there's usually a lot of alcohol and weed involved. But it's, it's just, he took that philosophy and he, I'm sure just like, even like YouTube stuff, like everyone was like, you can't have a video over X amount of minutes. You can't have a podcast over 20 minutes. People will just zone out. People will just zone out. Now he's the highest paid podcaster for 3-hour episodes.
I definitely think as we start to see more of these headlines and deals with podcasting, I know, personally speaking, it's definitely motivated me to take this more seriously from a business aspect because it's like, well, the amount of time that we put in, the content library that we have, it's definitely a future piece of advice I'll be sharing with podcasters that whatever podcasters to be is. I think you need to decide early on: is this going to be a hobby or is this something that you have business dreams?
It has the potential to be.
Exactly.
Bigger.
If anything,
I was reading a stat like iTunes next year they'll have over $1 billion in ad revenue. For iTunes, so I know Spotify's wanting to get part of that.
Yeah, there's definitely
getting exclusive, people.
There's definitely plenty of money to be made in podcasting. It's just how much legwork and are you willing to do?
So it wouldn't be me if I didn't put you on the spot.
Damn, please.
Who's your favorite Joe, Rogan or Budden?
Oh, easily Joe Budden podcast.
That's what I figured.
Only because Joe Budden podcast talks more about the topics that I like, which is like music and pop culture. Joe Rogan, I will listen when I just to like learn because he normally stays on like science, politics, just like kind of more important stuff. But Joe Budden to me is just way more entertaining. It feels more like the group of friends I hang around with. So I stick with them, but. It's definitely been funny to listen to them talk about the Joe Rogan because I think they got a pretty penny for being Spotify exclusive, but it was not no 100 million.
No.
So these last 3 episodes, they just keep bringing up like, guys, we got to fucking deliver $100 million worth of content, not like this BS, 1 million. So
I figured I'd ask you because it was like Marvel or DC for you.
Nah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different. I know. I was just teasing.
But in closing, real quick, only because Ed brought this to my attention, Joe Rogan isn't the only one coming to Spotify.
Yes. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, man. Our favorite fucking
your favorite artist.
Yeah. Your favorite comic book artist.
Rob Liefeld.
No!
Has his own podcast. Yeah.
Why?
It's just because he's awesome. And it's called, what's even more awesome than that? The name of his podcast.
What is it?
Robservations with Rob Liefeld.
Look at that. Look at that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Shaggy's like,
I'm gonna
he's
play.
so excited.
I know. I'm playing
He's
a little
shaking with
snippet.
excitement.
It's fine. Here's a little snippet for you.
Please don't.
Invested in the creators. 141 was the Avengers.
God, I'm
141
so
was
excited
the
already,
introduction to George Perez,
This
who
whole thing is like
would
this.
go on to be
I listened to
a
one episode.
revolutionary.
I'll stop it right there.
He kind of sounds like
I'm changing my
he
name
ca-
from Shaggy to Sleepy.
he kind of sounds like the comic book guy in Kermit the Frog.
Yo, he does. Yeah.
together.
What's up with
He
his
sounds
voice?
like the Bizarro version of the dude who cuts the fucking history podcast, the fucking American history. As soon as I look at because my joke would have landed. if I
Hardcore
got-
history?
Yes,
He's a little more animated
I
than
said-
Rob Liefeld.
I said way more Bizarro land than that because I like wow that dude's talking about history. I'll stay up for 3 hours listen to what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Rob Liefeld can literally talk about X-Men. And I will be sleeping.
Do any of you guys? I follow him on Instagram, and
He's ridiculous.
It is so kind of like patting, like he's patting himself on the back of every post because he'll remind you like, man, it's such an honor to see these characters that I created in the '90s, on books, toys, etc. Like he's always posting about Cable and Deadpool. He's always reminding you that, hey, despite what the fuck you've heard, I created these guys.
I created these. I
That
didn't make them cool,
literally-
but I created them.
That literally sounds like Barter and Shortbox.
Whoa!
No wonder why you follow him.
I was gonna say to backtrack real quick.
Wow.
that from now on, anytime I feel like I've released a weak episode, I'm just gonna say, nah, you guys got to see the short box cut. Release.
He just marked the timestamp to cut that out.
Release the short box cut. That's not my true vision of the episode. And it's like, Bonner, you edited the episode.
Release the Shaggy cut. Hashtag
release the Shaggy cut. There's way more MFers dropped. Way more. Way more IPAs and curse words.
Ashley, are you gonna be tuning into the Robservation?
Heck yeah, you are.
I can't. That 6-second clip or whatever was
Yeah, it
painful.
sounds pretty
It
bad.
was bad.
It was so bad.
I was sitting there going, why are we doing this?
But I would love to hear him have guests on, and he's just talking about himself. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be.
So when did you first see my work?
Jesus Christ. And they're just looking at him like, what? Like, Rob, I'm blind. Yeah, but when did you see it?
No.
Do you want to feel like I
transcends
printed out in
senses.
Grail?
You can feel it, absorb it.
That was good, Ed. You came through on this one, man.
I just saw all those this morning.
For our listeners out there, when we do these short box stories, I usually try to when I reach out to the group, I'm usually asking them, hey, try to cover something that we haven't posted on our Instagram. As many of you guys know, Ed is responsible for about 80-90% of the posts that we make on Instagram. Any ones that promoting like the episodes are normally me, but Ed will share the headlines, the breaking news.
You do the stories.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking with that.
Yeah, Ed will do the breaking news things, and it's always a challenge when it comes time to like find an article or headline that Ed hasn't posted to keep it fresh. Because Ed, I swear to God, man, you are always on top of these things. Like a lot of times, I find out from our short box Instagram the latest news. So I should have added that to my list of like news things. So I think we got through our list of topics. Was there anything else that we might have missed? Ashley, did you have anything?
Superman?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I was
Soups.
so excited for that. That Superman. I was
The
like,
weird non-news.
Yeah,
articles.
it said Henry Cavill is coming back for Superman, and the first two words were "sources say," and you always know that's bad
Latino
when they don't
review. No.
when they don't
Like,
quote what source. And
Infinite
it was,
sadness.
Yeah, it was just a couple articles of like he's in talks. That was it.
And then
So
they
one-
were saying it was like no Superman film, but it was going to be like cameo.
Like cameos.
Like the
Like
Hulk.
he's the fucking Hulk. No, man. I hate Superman with a passion, but he's more than the Hulk, bro. No, but Henry Cavill, man, just like I'm happy he's back in some sort of capacity because he's literally that's Superman now. I can't unsee it.
Well, I was actually going to ask. So, I mean, you probably already provided your input, but I was going to ask, I guess, for Ashley and Ed, has Henry Cavill cemented his role as Superman? Has he cemented like that imagery? Like for me, Chris Evans is Captain America.
No.
Like, has Henry Cavill done that for you guys?
Not
'Cause
even close.
Not for me.
Because I can still look at Brandon Roth and be like, "Oh, looks like Superman."
Well, yeah,
You know,
and it's DC,
Brandon Roth is
so
more Superman than Henry
there's-
Cavill. To me.
yeah.
there's no connection for me because it's like he's just the last guy to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's not
He never looked like he really owned
like
up
there's
to
no
it,
DC characters outside of probably Gal Gadot that
Yeah.
I would
I
like
feel like
say
she owned that
this
to it.
is this character. You know,
I see. That's where I disagree.
maybe
I could say-
Aquaman, maybe, but not
yeah,
100%.
I think ironically,
Yeah,
like he
that's
kind of
ironic,
take that
yeah.
on. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm
I say
still bro.
Henry Cavill sold it for me in Justice League. Surprisingly, when he turned around and saw Flash, was like,
Yeah, that was a
"What the
pretty
fuck are
epic.
you doing?"
That
And
was
I'm
a
like,
cool
that
scene.
that one
Yeah.
that's the reason why I bought Justice League. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, that one scene where
One
you
scene
can
on
literally
loop.
where you literally can see Flash shit himself the moment Superman like turns around and looks at him. He's
That-
like, "Oh, fuck."
That 10 seconds of that 3-hour movie, yeah. I
Yes,
definitely-
that's exactly what sold it for me. I mean that. Other than that, I would agree, but like just for me, like he was actually really good, and he doesn't get the justice that he should for.
I see what you did there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Funny.
If he keeps the mustache, he'd be awesome as like if they did an Invincible movie.
Dude!
And he played his dad.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
That would be
That
awesome.
would be great.
Just ripping people and
I do think I do think it's a good I think it's a good look for DC to do this
Yeah.
because it kind of keeps some sense of continuity of it actually established some sort of branding, you know, because I think that is hurting DC the most is these constant recasts. I mean, we're already getting another Batman, so it's like I don't have enough time to grow with one, you know, like Christian Bale. Say what you will about the trilogy, but I thought he played a great Batman, and I had time to like experience like the ups and downs. I think keeping Henry Cavill will only benefit them, hopefully, and kind of like getting themselves kind of picked back up as far as like continuity sakes and establishing like kind of their own universe.
I'm upset right now that I have a loop of like Henry Cavill dressed as Superman, but cocking his arms like guns from when he played.
What are his arms?
Wait, what?
Like
What?
So like the movie Mission Impossible where he's like in the bathroom scene and he cocks his like he like you can fuck like he, he looks like
totally
his guns and I'm
misheard
just
that.
like now I'm looking at oh shit. Now I picture him doing that and Superman's like
Cocks in
that's
his
all we
mouth.
need.
I mean, what?
Look at that.
What?
Be like
What
what?
movie is this? What cut is this?
No, I know exactly.
Release the Pornhub cut.
Exactly. The Ron Jeremy cut.
Whoa.
Release the Pornhub cut. I can get behind that.
Wow.
Release the Shaggy cut.
Okay.
No, I know what you're talking about. Which I thought he did pretty damn good in that.
That's just like it just looped in my head. I'm like, yeah, that's the ticket. And then it turned into the Pornhub cut, and I'm like, I'm not
you'll never see it
ashamed.
again.
I'm not ashamed.
All right. Well, all right. With all that being said, how about we do a quick music break? Come right back. We'll read some emails. I'll make an announcement about our next live event, and of course, we'll do Champion Season. Today's music is brought to you by DJ Crumbs. Man, big shout outs to DJ Crumbs. If you like what you hear, go ahead and give him a personal thank you on Instagram at Crumsabi. So yeah, enjoy the music. We'll be right back.
Please tell me you weren't recording that.
No, but that's the second shady, questionable thing that you've said on this show so far.
I'm glad I can keep it coming.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to question like why you really need to leave Jax now.
Mental capacity, my friend. I have none left.
Folks, we are back once again. That was music by DJ Crumbs. Big shout outs to him. So we've got no emails to read today. So I'll just use this time to say that we've got something special lined up. We've been talking about trying to do our first live episode for a minute now. Of course, all the COVID situation kind of put that on the back burner, but we have something in the works with Sunray Cinema. For those of you that live here in Jax, I'm sure that name rings a bell or two. We are possibly going to do our first. Would it be our first bad movie review of the year? What was our last one? Our last bad movie review was Ghost Rider. That might have been. Was that before or after the new year?
I don't remember.
Me neither. But anyways, our next bad movie review, which was voted by the patrons, is the unreleased Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie.
Hey, Ashley.
Ashley's favorite movie.
Favorite.
A part of me kind of wish they would have voted Catwoman because I feel like that'd be more entertaining. But I'm down to watch the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. So we are working with the Sunray Cinema team. Shout outs to Tim and Shauna. To get something in the books, hopefully late June, early July. We're going to try to rent out the Sunray Theater to showcase this and record a live show. Of course, it'll be a very, very, very limited audience.
You going to fly me out?
No.
You're dead to us.
But like I said, the goal will be to rent out that theater, show the movie, record a live episode and whatnot. So stay tuned to our social media pages. For updates. I'll definitely do something for the Shortbox patrons first, and of course for everyone else. So we've got that in the works. And it's also been a year since we've had our Patreon up and running. Today we've got about over 30 supporters, which we appreciate all of you guys. So I'll have a special giveaway planned here soon. Once again, just stay tuned to our social media pages. We'll announce that and whatnot. With that being said, no emails to read. If you're listening and you do got a champion, a topic, a question, whatever it may be that you want to share with the Shortbox crew, you can shoot us an email at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. And then we've also got a SpeakPipe account. So you can just go to speakpipe.com/theshortbox. Record a short voice message. That'll get emailed to me. I'll play it here on the show if you'd rather have your voice heard on the show rather than an email. So
I get to go back to being a fan and haunt you from the grave.
Man, that'd be... Damn, man. Hey, Shortbox Nation. Sorry for the interruption. Just a few quick words from our sponsor, and we'll get right back to the show. Yeah, so this is where I pick up my comics.
Excuse me, might I remind you the rules here at No Touch Collectibles? No loitering, no friendship, no touching the merchandise without gloves, and no free bags and boards.
Yeah, man, I know. This shop sucks. I don't even know why I shop here.
Well, we could go to Jacksonville's premier location for comic books, collectibles, toys, and more.
You okay?
At Gotham City Limits, you get 10% off comic books in your pull. 20% off trade paperbacks and hardcovers, 10% off high-end figures and statues, and free bags and boards. It's practically criminal.
And that's why Gotham City Limits is a place of the people.
How many times have you watched the Batman trilogy?
I'm ashamed to say.
Well, I mean, they're not bad.
One time for every time the Joker has taken the city hostage.
Are you done with that?
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, let's just go take our business there.
Gotham City Limit. It's the comic book shop Jax deserves, but not the one.
All right. I get it. It's a great shop. Let's just go. Man, look at you, bro. Look at you. You started out as an anonymous emailer.
With a sultry voice, too.
Yo, you had a sultry voice before we knew you had a sultry voice.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think Cesar was just giving you a sultry voice
just because of your name.
Yeah, Shaggy Black.
Yeah, man.
Damn. I wonder if I could find that first email from you.
Dude, it's like I've been looking for it.
Grammatically incorrect. There's a bunch of errors.
A bunch of hashtags.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to see if I can find it. I wonder if that's possible to look for it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our last segment of the show, our champion season. Champion season, for those of you tuning in for the first time, is our last segment of the show. It's our opportunity to go around the table and share a few items in pop culture and comic books, whether it be a movie, a TV series, a comic book, a video game, etc., whatever it may be that we want to champion and highlight because, hey, it's dope and we want more people to know about it. Shaggy, for you being our special guest and, this one being your last in-person episode. Well, maybe not. I won't say last.
Question mark? The end?
With this being your last weekend as a Jacksonville resident, how about you go ahead and kick us off first? What do you want to champion today?
So, real shit, I want to champion a lot of everyone who went out and protest, no matter where you are. I love you. Thank you for continuing everything. We can't start change without everything happening, so thank you for that. Also, weirdly, I'm gonna champion Frasier. I've been watching a lot of fucking Frasier as of late. I know, random as fuck, right? I just been watching a lot of Frasier.
That's like the whitest show in the history of television.
It really is.
Like, wait, what?
Because like it took 7 seasons before like Kim Whitley showed up.
How'd you go from that beautiful, like heartfelt, like yo, thank you guys for standing up for
Frasier, y'all.
What's right? Let me tell you about Frasier.
Real shit. Hey man. Kelsey Grammer done put a lot of the black TV shows on point. Like he's an executive producer of. So they're like that one. If you look into it, he's done a lot. Like from like Girlfriends probably being the more popular one that he did.
Doesn't mean you have to watch that show.
Don't. I mean, it's still it has its times, but other than that, but no, I don't know why I've been watching. Show. I think the reason why I've been watching Frasier a lot is because like every time I would watch it when I'm going to bed, and every time I close my eyes, I imagine Sideshow Bob cussing people out. That's literally what saves it for me. Like when he goes on a tantrum, I'm thinking.
Didn't Niles play Sideshow Mel too?
So Niles played his brother on one of the episodes. Sideshow Mel was the I don't think he was Sideshow Mel.
He was Sideshow Mel was
Cecil.
the replacement. Okay.
Sideshow Cecil.
Gotcha.
Because he wanted to take Bob's place.
Gotcha.
And that episode rings
Where's
in
Bart
my
of
head.
Darkness at? I need to fact
Exactly. No, he definitely knows. He definitely knows.
He'll text me.
He's like, yo, Shaggy's right, dog. But no, like that's pretty much. I mean, other than like HBO Max, those are my champions. Also, all of you.
First champ. Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Well, one, thank you. Two, like genuinely, thank you. I think I managed to find your first email. I scrolled through. So you started following us on Twitter February 24th, 2016 as Shag Esquire. Well, maybe not Shag Esquire, but whatever. Shaggy Black. And then on what is that? May, June, July 23rd, 2016. This is the first email that pulled up. This is as far back as I could go.
Mm-hmm.
But you wrote a very long fucking email.
Wow.
This is probably why we had to start instilling like that shit. Probably not. But
don't blame that shit on me.
If you don't mind, let's take a walk through memory lane real quick.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Your email, once again, sent on July 23rd, 2016. It was titled, "Sorry, Botter. This email doesn't contain murder or drugs." Which kind of sad face. You wrote, "Hey guys, I just want to take the time out and say I look forward to listening to the podcast every time it drops. The first episode I ever listened to was the Spoiler Wars, and as soon as I heard Cesar's spoiler alert like a motherfucker, I knew I was in for something special. Also, I find myself always laughing at Botter getting shot with spoiler bullets as if he was walking down Moncrief during release night." As a podcaster myself, I always find that the best podcasts are usually one of the ones where you can tell the guys sound like they're shooting the shit among one another. Chemistry with your podmates is always important because if you can't talk shit about each other while going over your favorite pastime, then why do you even record? Speaking of pastimes, Champion Season is one of my favorite parts of the show. Some of the stuff you guys champion I've heard of before, while most of it is all new to me. You guys haven't pointed me in the wrong direction yet, so keep up the great selections. Never thought that one of my favorite non-wrestling podcasts to listen to would be based here locally in Jacksonville. And I gotta say, I'm proud of you guys. Speaking of wrestling, here's my question. Going around the table, what would be your finishing move be called if you were a wrestler? And if I may, I have one thing I would like to champion in that realm. If you grew up watching wrestling and love things like ECW, check out a wrestling promotion called Progress Wrestling. It's based out in the UK and it's phenomenal. It's not like anything you would see on Monday night, just hard hits, amazing moves, and pure wrestling. You can find some free to watch matches on YouTube, or you can subscribe on to their demand service, Demand Progress. Once again, thanks for the GAM code team #FuckRyan and taking time for reading my email and putting out such great way to kill an hour and a half while selling beer to the masses. From Black Duff Man, Shaggy Black.
Wow. I'm so happy for myself because I thought I was going to be dated as hell.
Nah, it's still dated, but
it's not as dated though. I thought it was gonna be way worse.
Nah, man, that was a good first email, man. Yeah. Spoiler. I gotta look up that episode. Spoiler War or Warning with Spoiler Wars. Says I think that was a Star Wars episode.
Might have been, yeah.
I think so. That might have been either the second one or 2016. So it might have been. What was the second Star Wars movie called again? Force Awakens.
Oh, Force Awakens.
Last Jedi. Oh yeah, Last Jedi. Damn, Shaggy, you've been supporting us that long, brother. Thank you, dude.
No, I thought it would have been longer, but I
dude,
guess
podcast years is crazy. That was 2016. We've been recorded like well before 2016, but like 4 years. That's what I'm saying is like looking at Joe Rogan and how much he puts out and how long he's been recording. It's something like for me, a lot of times this podcast and certain episodes, like I know where I was, what was going on, and it's like always a good milestone or a marker that I could use. Like, oh, that episode, yeah, that's when we got Sion, that movie came out, or this comic book, blah blah blah. So, thanks again, Shaggy.
Hey man, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Ashley, I'm gonna go to you. What do you want to champion today?
So I just want to say real quick, I thought I've only been doing this for like 2 years, but now that you're bringing that up, like it's been a really long time.
Yeah, because you were a part of the show. When I wrote that.
I
email.
remember that.
Like
2016.
It was crazy as hell. Like I literally thought it was longer, but yeah, no, it's because I remember I started listening to you guys like right after I was like in therapy and everything else, and then like I found it was like late 2015 then 2016.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy. So first off, I want to say that I'm going to miss you, even though I never got to see you much. But Austin is really cool. I haven't been there, but I've heard. And then I'll go ahead and champion. It's a podcast episode. It's Last Podcast on the Left, episode 409. It's called Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you listened to it. Yeah, it is. If you like Poltergeist.
Is that a side story?
I don't think it was a side story. It was like a full researched episode. About a talking mongoose sort of poltergeist thing on the Isle of Man in, I don't know, maybe like 100 years ago, not even that long ago. Yeah. And it is just super entertaining. And it was one of those podcasts where I listened to it, and then as soon as it was over, I just restarted it. And I don't do that very often.
Wow.
But it's just, and it's a great episode. If you haven't listened to Last Podcast on the Left, some of the stuff can get real intense. And this is just like a fun, light episode, and it's really cool. It just I've been thinking about it for days.
Yeah, I like their kind of goofy stuff like that more than their serial killer stuff.
Yeah,
heavy, but yeah, that's a funny one.
Yeah, so episode 409, and you have to go on Spotify to listen to it now. Exclusive, yeah.
Competition. That's a good one, Ashley. Ed, what about you? What do you got to champion?
I'm going to champion a couple things since it's a podcast episode. Another podcast. Have you listened to the No Dogs in Space podcast?
Yeah, that Marcus does.
Marcus and his wife. And it's basically like if you're into punk music, they've been doing kind of audio, like histories of these kind of iconic punk bands they've done. They're just started the Misfits, but they've done the Ramones. But it's only about 6 or 7 episodes deep, and each band gets about 2 or 3 episodes. So that's been a really good podcast. And since the pandemic, I've been kind of going through my collection, and I've rereading the relaunch of Prophet, the originally a Rob Liefeld. Tie it in again. Originally a Rob Liefeld, 90s, very one-note super soldier type character, but in 2012 Brandon Graham and Simon Roy not only relaunched the character but kind of set it, didn't really do a relaunch but a continuation about 10,000 years in the future. So it's this really bizarre, almost psychedelic kind of a space epic. It's very crazy, but they even started the issue like at 21 where the original 90s series left off. So they've kept that history of the Youngblood tie-in, and they even have some characters from Youngblood pop in and out. So, but it's next. It's about 10 levels beyond storytelling wise from like 90s action, character. But that's been a really good series. There's 5 trades out. I still need to get the 5th one. But if you're looking for something really kind of bizarre space, psychedelic stuff, it's a really cool read.
Awesome. Real quick before I give mine, I just had an idea. I think we're overdue an artist spotlight episode. And I don't know if I mentioned this on the show, but what we'll do for this artist spotlight is let the our patrons submit names, and I think we'll vote on which one to pick. Kind of switch it up.
Reverse.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Pick Andy Kubert. But yeah, so we'll just do that.
No, Jeff Lemire for Ashley. Guys, Jeff Lemire.
Don't let us
that's
down.
so rude.
But honestly, I think it's time to do a Rob Liefeld one. Like, me and C originally had a really good idea for the you know, C always does like an introduction. We were gonna switch it up for that one. So for the love of God, let's just knock this Rob Liefeld one out.
That's gonna be awesome.
For my champions, I've got 2 comic book series I'll do. One is both of them are actually from DC. One is Far Sector. It's part of the DC Young Animal print. It's a Max series.
It's the Green Lantern?
Yeah. It's
awesome.
the latest Green
Looks
Lantern.
awesome.
It is. So it's all about the newly chosen Green Lantern, Sojourner Joe Moline. Probably slaughtered that name.
Wow.
But Sojourner, Joe Moline. It is primarily a sci-fi murder mystery. It's by N.K. Jemisin. Hopefully I said that name right. But she wrote the Broken Earth fiction trilogies. It's one of few. She's actually got a ton of awards, so she knows her way around like sci-fi. And the art is by Jamal Campbell. The basic premise is that this new Green Lantern has been tasked to go to this city that has maintained peace for over 500 years. It's got like 3 primary like kind of alien races kind of living all together. But the way that they've kind of avoided turmoil and whatnot is by stripping its citizens of their ability to feel. Of course, the story takes place with a murder, the first murder in over 500 years. So it's kind of up to her to help these alien races kind of address the murder. But also it deals with a lot of like very similar topics that I think we're seeing in the world today. Just kind of, pardon me, unrest, kind of racial inequality and things like that. They definitely touch on a lot of bigger themes, but in a very tasteful way. It's not shoved down your throat. It's not heavy-handed. I think they approach it really well. The art is fantastic, and I was just telling Drew today that this is how I like to see brand new spins or characters of classic kind of legacy character, because this is a new Green Lantern. I don't remember much of the press or what the attitude was when she was announced, because I think this is like the first black female Green Lantern, which when you think Green Lantern, it's not really that big a deal because so many people are Green Lanterns.
There's been purple monsters.
Yeah, definitely overdue.
Like bird-headed people.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let me take that away. It's definitely long overdue, but they don't make that like the driving force. It's not like look, it's not inclusion.
Yeah.
It's just a good ass story. It's a great.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, if you're into like kind of murder mystery with sci-fi elements, I highly recommend. The art is so gorgeous, but like I said, it's just fulfilling, and it's DC Young Animal, so they're not really constrained by like. Sort of like the kind of campiness or whatnot that you've got to apply when it comes to some of their bigger names and the mainstream titles. It's got that kind of edge to it. So I recommend Far Sector. It's definitely up to issue 5, but by the time this episode releases on Wednesday, issue 6 will come out, and that'll be the end of the first story arc. The next thing I'll champion is Superman Up in the Sky, which was originally a part of which was just like the short story Walmart comic books that they were coming out. Like the Walmart comic books were like those big kind of collected books, but they always had at least one story that was brand new. This is the Tom King and Andy Kubert Superman story. So it's all original, all new. And the basic premise is it just kind of answers the question of how far across the galaxy will Superman go to bring a single child home? And the premise being aliens have kidnapped a young girl from Metropolis. And along Superman's journey to find her, he faces new mysteries and new challenges. So every issue is like just a new adventure that Superman finds himself in on his journey to finding this girl. So it's been really inspirational, man. I've started reading this just because of how heavy everything is. And Superman tends to a really good writer that has a good handle on Superman. Definitely leans more into like the humanity side of what he represents. And this is no different. I think Tom King, being such the type of writer he is and how he deals with dialogue and kind of looking at superheroes more on the human scale, he does excellent on the Superman title. And Andy Kubert, man, just to me, he is top 5 like greatest comic book artist in my opinion, especially when it comes to superhero stuff. I think you don't get much better than Andy Kubert, man. So it's just a all around great writing, great artwork, and really kind of fun to get into. So Superman Up in the Sky and Far Sector are my champions. And that's what I've got. And I think we are at a good stopping point of our show. I do want to go ahead and welcome any of our listeners who have an awesome or cool champion to share to send us an email at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com or send in a short voicemail by calling our Google Voice number or our SpeakPipe up account. Man, with that being said, Shaggy, man, do you want to you got any last words, anything you want to plug? I mean, how can people stay in touch with you while you're in Austin? Anything you want to say?
Man, now you put me on the spot because I've been looking at my phone for like the last 5 minutes. I mean, I have my Twitter. I have like same handle, Shaggy Black. I have my Instagram, ShaggyBlack_13. My podcast I do have is on hiatus because I got to figure that shit the fuck out. And you know, up until this point, that's all I'm thinking about is the move. Just trying to get that done.
Well, like we've been saying throughout the show, man, you will be missed. Thank you for everything you've done, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Ed, you got anything to plug? Anything you want to shout out?
Just my Instagram. I'm still taking commissions because I am jobless, and I'm working on a mural for Rec Room, so that should be wrapped up.
That'd be awesome
this week. But yeah, that's about all I've got going on.
Cool. Ashley, what about you?
AshleyLaney.com, and I'm taking most commissions. No pets, no kids until Christmas. I just can't do it.
It's like the opposite of the Titanic rules. It's like, yo, no kids, no pets.
Yeah, until like November.
So send in all the obscure, weird,
furry
and
porn
sci-fi
is okay.
like commissions that you've got. All right, and I'm going to wrap up by saying that is the end of our show, Shortbox Nation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us and sharing with us your most valuable commodity, which is your time. As always, thank you. It is appreciated. If you feel inclined to directly support the creation of more episodes and help us keep the lights on here at Shortbox Studios, consider becoming a Shortbox patron. We'll trade you bonus content like bonus episodes and interviews, as well as exclusive merch and gifts in exchange for a couple of your dollars. Check out what we have to offer for your contributions on our membership site, patreon.com/theshortbox. We will be taking next week off, but that represents a perfect opportunity for you to play catch up of our recent episodes. My recommended listens would be episode 288, Enter the Sandman, episode 284, our Frank Frazetta Artist Spotlight, and our interview of comic book artist and co-creator of Marvel's Forceworks series, Thomas Tinney, on episode 282, Big and Cool. With all that being said, listeners, stay safe, stay healthy, and come back Wednesday, June 17th for more good times. In the meantime, continue to make mine and yours Shortbox.
Yo, what happened to peace? Peace.